Andrew Yang is running for mayor of New Jack City. What are the numbers to prove that this makes any sense whatsoever? Let's go through the crosstabs. Let's go through the top line results of the famous Slingshot media polling survey that convinced Andrew MF Yang to run. But first,
There's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's in. Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up. Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's in. Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang.
hello, nerds. You want to say it, Brandon?
Hello, nerds.
Woo, got a little echo there, but I think that works. I don't know if you guys remember, but we've got Brandon, one of my two sons, a nerdling for Yang, and Brandon's wearing his nerdling for Yang t-shirt. Oh, yeah, sporting the nerd. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're officially nerds for humanity. But maybe we are back to nerds for Yang, given that Andrew's running for, we think, maybe, mayor of NYC City. Unfortunately, it does not look like old Joe Biden is going to give him the cabinet job that I was hoping for. Who knows? I think maybe commerce is still available, but given that Andrew's already allowing it to be talked about that he's might be running for mayor, who knows? It could be the ultimate negotiating tactic, or maybe he's just not going to get that offer, and maybe mayor is even better for him. Brandon, do you want to share any thoughts before we go into the crosstabs about what you think? I can mute myself and you can unmute. Go ahead. Why don't you share some thoughts?
I think, like, I was really, really happy when we found out that Joe Biden won, because we got that guy out of there. And I really think that it would be great for Andrew Yang to run again and maybe even try and be the president of the United States.
You're waiting for him to be president. How do you feel about him becoming mayor of New Jack City?
I think that seeing him do really great and having many amazing ideas, I think that he's gonna be an amazing mayor in New Jack City.
All right. Well, let's see. I'll be honest. Can I be honest with you, Nerds for Humanity channel members and subscribers and viewers? I was not instantly excited when I heard Andrew was running for mayor or considering it, for a few reasons. One, I was like, my God, I am so exhausted after the Yang 2020 and then the Biden/anti-Trump 2020. And I was just thinking, like, golly, like, why can't you just get the cabinet offer and then get some stuff done, and it'll be great sort of resume material for POTUS 2024 or 2028. And I think I was also worried, honestly. I was like, man, is he going to be able to pull it off? Because if Yang runs for NYC mayor and we all bust our chops to raise money and create content and canvas and call and text, and he doesn't make it, can the Yang Gang survive another gut punch? So I was like, I don't know if I like this idea. But, you know, I read, like everybody else out there, I was reading the news reports, and a lot of them refer to this idea that, oh, well, you know, actually, Yang is potentially doing really well in terms of how he stacks up to the other people running, And there was this talk about some sort of leaked polling report from Slingshot. And of course, I was like, I wonder if anybody made a video about the actual Slingshot polling. So beyond saying he's, ahead and he has whatever 20 percentage points, like, can we dig a little deeper? And it's possible people have already made this video, but this is Nerds for Humanity. And when I found the data on the Slingshot website, I was like, shoot, that sounds like a good live stream. And it's the weekend. This is how we roll. This is what we do, right? So why don't we get right into it and look at the data and convince ourselves either that he's brilliant and it makes perfect sense, or who knows, maybe we'll find that we don't think running for mayor is a good idea. Or if we agree, let's answer the question why, beyond that he's leading in that one poll. So let's start with the top line results, and then we're going to go into the crosstabs. Oh, I got to give permission to I may have to leave this stream for a minute. I'm setting up a new machine and none of the permissions are set. So if I leave, Brandon, can you keep the show going while I kind of set some things up on my machine?
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, you just tell them about your bird or Christmas plans.
Whoops. Okay, I was on mute.
Yeah, you go talk to them.
Okay. I don't really know what to do.
Tell them that we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
All right. Very professional live stream, as you can see. Here we go. Hopefully this works this time. Yay! This should load in a second. If it doesn't, then we're up the creek. Let's refresh this page. Oh, just as it loaded, I refreshed. Okay. So this is the famous Slingshot Strategies poll that everybody's talking about and is super excited about. So let's see, first of all, should we give this this poll any credence? The good news is it looks like a pretty good poll. I think they had about 1,000 people surveyed, which is actually quite a good number if you just want to get one city. And it was conducted in November. Nice distribution of age. And we should be clear that it does not include Republicans. So they terminated the poll if someone said that they were a Republican or they were not part of the Democratic Party. So first thing to know is that this is a poll just of Democrats. Although given that it's New York City, I don't know, like that pretty much represents the vast majority of them. 64% were absolutely likely and 27% were very likely. Pretty much every Democrat in New York City looks like they are going to participate. So that's interesting. Super engaged voting population. And 92% of those Democrats from New York City voted for Biden, which is not a huge surprise because we know that Donald Trump and the Trump family is not very popular in the New York City circles. I think the rich people don't really think that he's that smart, and probably the poor people think that he doesn't really care about them. So like he goes to Mar-a-Lago instead. But at any rate, that's how most of them voted. And then in terms of favorability, this is a randomized order. These would be his potential competitors. You've got Andrew Cuomo, who does have a 79% favorable. Brandon, why don't you do me a solid and write this down because I may have to refer to it later.
Okay.
Okay.
Write what down?
Write Cuomo without typing on the keyboard. Maybe I'll pull this here. Write Cuomo, and you don't have to spell it perfect.
Okay.
Cuomo, 79% favorable, 17% unfavorable. You got it? Yeah?
And then how much percent non?
17% unfavorable. Okay. We've got de Blasio. Oh my God. No wonder this guy is not really doing so well. Bill de Blasio, he has more unfavorable than favorable. 46% favorable, 50% unfavorable for de Blasio. Yep. You writing this down, bro?
What? Which part?
De Blasio, 46% favorable, 50% unfavorable. Just phonetically. AOC, that you know how to spell. AOC is 62% favorable, but 1 in 4. De Blasio, you can just put 50-50. Or you can say 46-50 if you want to be exact. Okay. AOC is 62-25. So that's interesting. In New York City, which you would think is a Democratic stronghold, 1 out of 4 Democrats don't really like the AOC. They're not down with the AOC. Are you down with AOC? Not 1 in 4 of NYC. So that's interesting. Let's move on. Stringer, I think Stringer was considered the front runner. I think he's like city council president or something like that. He's 50-20. 14% never heard and 18% are unsure. That's interesting. Eric Adams is even worse, 40-20. Christine Quinn, 40-20. Maya Wiley, even worse, 30-20. Andrew Yang, 60-20. So Andrew has similar favorable to AOC, but a little bit less unfavorable. AOC has 25 unfavorable, but Yang does have 20% or 17% unfavorable. So he's not loved. 1 in 5 are unfavorable to the Yang. And then McGuire, nobody's heard of him. He's 20-10. Donovan, 30-15. Carlos, 30-20. Max, 40-20. So generally, for the favorability rating, so far, you basically have 2 tiers. You have all these people that are under 50 favorable, which ironically is probably how people looked at Yang when he was running for president. But now Yang is suddenly the part of the top tier. So we can ignore the under 50 people. And I know the people who are supporting candidates that are unheard, like lesser known, are like, hey, how ironic, like you're being, you're kind of like blacking out the other candidates. But I don't have time to talk about all 20. So maybe this is why the MSM blacked out Yang. They didn't have time to talk about everybody. So of the people that were over 50 favorable, you've got Yang, not Wiley, not Quinn, not Adams, barely Stringer, AOC, not de Blasio, and Cuomo. So it comes down to Cuomo, AOC, a little bit of Stringer, and the Yang. And Yang actually has, almost, he was number 2 for favorability. It looks like Cuomo was the only one. Okay, so that's the favorability, but we can dig deeper. So let's go down further into when they were given a random set of 5, who did they pick most often? And it turns out that Yang got picked the most often. Please rank your top 5 choices. So for first choice, Yang got more first choice votes than Adams and Stringer. Where the hell is AOC's? She must be in a separate question. Or maybe they just didn't think she was really going to run. Probably they didn't think she was going to run, and neither Cuomo. So this is an interesting one in that it's probably just selecting the people most likely to run for mayor and skipping AOC because she's kind of a big deal in Congress. And skipping Cuomo because he probably feels like it'd be a step down from governor. I don't know. But you've got Yang ahead of Adams and Stringer, and he's also more people's number 2 choice at 12% number 2s. He's also leading for number 1 for number 3 choice. And the only thing he's not winning is being people's last choice, which is great. So if you're out there thinking like, my goodness, should Andrew Yang run? Well, based on this data, shoot, why not, right? If you're Yang, ironically, has a better chance of becoming the mayor of the world's greatest city than he had a chance of winning the Iowa caucuses. So there you go. Let's see what else we can learn. I'm reading this for the first time. Ooh, these Slingshot bros did ranked choice voting instant runoff. What? In that case, Yang ultimately gets 23% and over Adams and Stringer. So if you were wondering like, well, is Yang number 1 because, you know, he's just splitting the vote? No, apparently not. Because when people, their top candidate like Sutton or Morales or Iskol get knocked out, more of those guys go to the Yangster than to the Adams or the Stringfellow. So next on, okay, top choice. We talked about this. Yang wins. Endorsement test. You're going to hear people endorsing. Indicate if the endorsement would make more or less likely support a candidate. Thank you, Brandon. You're taking good notes here. By the way, Brandon, why don't you unmute and share with us what you are concluding so far from the data we have thus far?
Okay. So I just read it out.
Well, no. Just think about what we've been talking about and how would you try and draw a summary?
So basically, Yang is winning like most of them and doing the best at most of them.
Well, that's true. All right. I can't blame you. That is a good summary. All right. Let's move on for more data. Should an endorsement matter? Yes. 70% would make someone more likely to support a candidate if Andrew Cuomo endorsed. So now we know that Cuomo's brother from CNN, CNN Cuomo, what the heck is his name? Chris Cuomo. We know that old Chris Cuomo is kind of a fan of the Andrew. So to hear you, I know we hate the establishment and the media sort of old boys club, but you know, are we going to turn it down if Andrew is buddies with Chris and Chris has been impressed by what he's seen and he talked to his bro, Andrew Cuomo? If Chris Cuomo talks to Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo's like, yo, bro, literally, bro, this Andrew Yang mofo is serious, that could be a big deal. Now, if you get the Andrew Cuomo endorsement, shoot, that's might be a done deal. Now, on the other hand, if you get the de Blasio endorsement, you might actually have equivalent number of people wanting to vote against you, so maybe we get de Blasio to pal around with Stringfellow or the other dudes. And then Bloomy, ooh, you know what? is it out of the question to see Yang getting an endorsement from the Bloom? No, it's not. And actually, that would carry some freaking weight. 60% would be more likely. Maybe these are the calls that old Andrew's making right now. If I had to bet, maybe he's like, "Hey, Mike, it's good to see you. You know, we had good times in Super Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad we both supported Biden. You know, I've been thinking about running." Why do I sound like Bill Clinton? Anyway, Mike Bloomberg would be a good endorsement. Oh, Joe Biden. Bros, is that why Yang may not be pissed at Biden for not giving him a cabinet job? Could it be that the ultimate political win-win is that Yang doesn't take a cabinet role, frees up a spot for some other, Obama, friend of Obama, or friend of Joe, or friend of Tom Perez, or whoever, frees up a spot for commerce so they don't have to put Yang in there. But then Yang says, "How about you endorse me for mayor of New Jack City?" Oh, Andrew, I see where you're going now, bro. Shoot. I did not. That was over my head. I'm starting to get it, Andrew. I am starting to get it. All right. So that was the Biden one. Kamala? Yeah, might as well. Who has spent more time with Kamala Harris out of that crew that's running for mayor? Andrew MF Yang, right? Shoot. Freaking Yang, mayor of New York, you sneaky, sneaky bro. Endorsement from AOC, I don't see that happening, but it would help kind of, although 1 in 4 people would be less likely to vote for you. So maybe leave AOC alone. And plus, I know she thinks that basic income is a secret ploy to hurt people. What's that?
How much percent did Kamala Harris have?
Kamala would give us 73% boost. But AOC would be 50. Okay. Grace Meng, not familiar with her. I kind of feel like she might have gotten a Humanity Forward endorsement. Round and round we go. You see? As much as I don't want to see Andrew sucked in by the swamp, like, politics is a relationship business. The Reverend Al, not a huge help, 40-29. The Democratic Socialists of America, not that much of a help. I would take the Biden Cuomo endorsement, it looks like. SEIU, 50-12. Another SEIU, 40-15. Teachers, 60-20. Let's just get Harris, Cuomo, and Biden and call it done. So that's where New York Times would be nice. Daily News, not so nice. New York Post, no impact whatsoever, more negative than positive. All right, so I think those were the top lines. Here's what the New York City voters care about. Mostly coronavirus infections down. So it turns out that the people of New York City do not believe that coronavirus is a hoax. They believe that it's real, and it looks like they want to keep those infections down. And apparently they don't think that vitamin D and hydroxychloroquine alone are going to do it. Maybe even with the zinc chaser. That was, ironically, there's videos of Trump talking about how he feels like because he has a hydroxy, he will never catch it. And then obviously he did and had to get helicoptered and medevac to Walter Reed. Next, they care about social justice and then bringing crime down. So here's the question. Yang will need to bone up on his coronavirus mitigation planning. Racial and social justice is an interesting one. It's not an area that he has stood out on. I mean, I feel like he's taken reasonable positions. You know, he's not really talked about bringing crime down. Maybe homelessness and lowering taxes is another one. That's probably not going to be top of the Yang list if he's going to do basic income. So where, you know, if you wanted to kind of convince yourself that he had a good policy issue kind of fit, you would hope that unemployment and poverty and homelessness would be in the top 3. Yeah, I guess it's not even on here. Well, protecting renters and homelessness, neither of those made the top 3. Now, you could argue, could UBI help with bringing crime down? I think so. It's a more nuanced argument. Definitely would help with homelessness. It probably won't. It could help with keeping the infections down if you frame it as UBI will help us weather sort of advanced mitigation while we vaccinate people. You could argue that racial and social injustice, I don't know how you make a UBI argument there. But crime down, yeah. So net, I think from an issues point of view, Yang's got work to do. So I'm guessing if I were Zach or the rest of his team, he's going to need to put together some briefing papers and come up with some cool plans across coronavirus, social justice, crime, taxes. Because if you don't want to be pigeonholed as like, oh, there's Andrew, the UBI guy. That's all he talks about. He should be the mayor of UBI, not NYC. So that's something to be careful about. Next, this is their issue preference by weighting. Definitely want virus and social justice and crime. Homelessness is kind of there, but definitely virus plan and social justice would probably be the 2 I would say he needs a bone up on. And then most important thing, coronavirus response and vaccine and job loss. Okay. In terms of the challenges that are important to you when deciding what type of mayor. Yeah. So they care about virus, job loss, and quality of life and crime and budget. Okay. So that's the top line results. How are you guys doing there? Is anybody still in the stream? Oh, we got 77 people. I have more data. I have the crosstabs, which shows what kinds of Democrats are supporting Yang. What do you think, Brandon?
I was thinking that if you like finish everything up and we still haven't done at least like an hour of live stream, then like you could do the guest thing where some guest comes on or something.
Oh,
a surprise one.
A surprise guest, like from the audience, from one of the 77 people.
One of these people watching.
Really? All right. Well, you think about that. Maybe you can nominate, or people want to volunteer to come on the stream with me. I'd be happy to invite you on once I go through the crosstabs. Or I don't know. I like the crosstabs. You guys want the crosstabs? You want to see what kinds of Democrats are supporting Yang and where he's weak? If you do, put it in the chat. Just say crosstabs or more data. Otherwise, I think we'll ask. All right, there, finally. Talk about fishing for support. I'm like, please ask for the crosstabs. Ask for the crosstabs. All right, let's do the crosstabs, and then maybe we'll get Nell on. Isn't Nell a new? Doesn't he live in New Jack City? I think Nell lives in New Jack City. All right. Well, let's go on to the crosstabs, and then maybe if Nell's still around, we can invite him over.
I would do like one of the least people like who isn't on here a lot.
No, you should prioritize the people with the
Green.
little green thing, because those are supporters of the channel.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
They're the channel
Yeah, I
members.
know from that.
You feel me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Okay, let's share La crosstabs. Oh, son of a gun. That's not the crosstabs, is it? No, hold
No,
on.
we literally
Yeah, there we go.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yes, it is raining in California. Hold on. No, they can't hear. They can't hear.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. But if you were curious about who they surveyed, okay, that's fine. That's not that interesting. We're going to jump to who supports Yang. Let me just skip by all of this. These are all the oh, here we go. That's
Do I
Cuomo.
need to write more stuff down?
No, you're good, buddy.
Okay.
You just keep an eye on the chat, and if anybody gives us a super chat, then you can ring the Swiss cowbell.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. Just kidding, guys. But if you do give us a super chat, that money is going to go towards. I'm going to start running some new ad campaigns, because I think we're close to almost paying back the Yang Speaks podcast sponsorship. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to zoom in first. This is, do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of Yang? Where is Yang support? So let's look at age. His biggest age group. Okay. First of all, what is amazing about this is that he actually has more favorability with the older people, like 35 and above, than he has with the younger people. So, oh, dude, ring the bell, man. Ring that bell. Show them on the screen the bell. Woo! Yes, thank you, Ribby Fish 76, RYB Fish 76, Robbie Reby Fish 76. Okay. Brandon, you got to let me know when you see the supers, bro.
Yeah, like they did it and then I just did it.
All right.
As fast as
I need attention to detail.
Oh, yeah. And Mel said that he is cooking right now.
Oh,
That
he's
doesn't mean he can't.
okay. We'll get back to our audience guest once I go through the crosstabs. So the first thing I want to focus on is, guys, do you remember in Iowa and New Hampshire with the national sort of Democratic supporters and the party primary people in the early states? It was all young Twitter people. Not in New Jack City, man. New Yorkers know Andrew Yang. Shit. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Brandon. I'll pay you later. Shoot. The older people have higher favorability of the Yang than the young people. Dude has 70% favorable from 65-year-olds. Thank you, old people. If anything, it's these young 18 to 24-year-olds who don't realize that they could be getting basic income on their 18th birthday, which is probably more help than they've ever gotten from the government. Yeah, so that's awesome. And then in terms of where is his most unfavorable, there isn't one group. There's some 25 to 34-year-olds that are 17% unfavorable, but I don't know, nothing huge there. And then in terms of awareness, again, he has only never heard of his name is only 9% total. And of those, it's mostly the young people again, 18 to 24. So if you previously were concerned that Yang was a moron for taking the CNN job, and you were saying, wow, he's selling out, bros, MF Yang now has basically 90% name awareness in New York City. You think he would? I don't think he would be there if he didn't have that CNN job. So kudos, Andrew, playing chess, man. You know, people talk about Donald Trump playing 4D chess. Number one, I agree. He doesn't play chess. He'd be like the little kid that eats the checkered pieces, as my boy Scaramucci said. But Yang with 91% awareness and favorability of 61, and most importantly, nice and even across the board for the ages. And then for men, 66%. Actually, there's less women in favor than men. So that's not new. We've had that gap in the past. So we're going to need to work on the women. But for the women that are home taking care of a kid or a family member or a parent, you would think that over time, the idea of basic income will be compelling. And then in terms of race, he's 69% favorable. He's most favorable with the whites, and he's least favorable with the Hispanics. Only 41% of Hispanics are favorable. And in fact, in terms of never heard of, 12% of Hispanics have never heard of him. 12% of blacks have never heard of him. Only 4% of Asians have never heard of him. However, he has less favorability with the Asians than he does with the whites. So there you go. And in terms of borough, he's pretty much popular across the board with the exception of Brooklyn. I'm not sure what's going on in Brooklyn. Maybe there is is AOC from Brooklyn? She might be. I don't know, but it's nice. It's 60% favorable in all of the boroughs except for Brooklyn, where he's still majority, 51% favorable. So net, this is why Andrew's running is,
Dad,
yeah.
$5 again.
Oh, ring that bell, bro. Ring it. Ring that bell. Ring it. Woo! Woo! So Yoon Jae Lee has been a subscriber since the summer of 19.
And people, the guy Nell,
Yeah,
was the one. He earlier in the chat he said that Yoon also should come on the show at the same time with Nell.
All right. So Yoon and Nell, do you guys want to join this discussion? Do either of you want to join this discussion? Because if you do,
No.
all right. Nell follows me on Twitter. So Nell, I'm gonna DM you the link to join this stream, and then Yoon, if you DM me on the Twitter, then I'll DM you back with the secret link to join. Okay?
Secret.
It is secret, bruh. All right. Well, let's see if we can find Nell. Nell, where are you, bro? Here's Nell. And then Yoon, you want to put your handle in the chat, and then I'll look you up on Twitter? Oh, shit. Maybe Yoon's not on the Twitter.
Thank you for saying that.
Oh, shoot. Did I say it?
Yeah, you said. We can
Oh, Nell is connected with Yoon. So I'll send the link to Nell,
and Yoon will.
and then Nell will send it to the Yoon.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see no Yoon on my DMs.
Confusing the chat.
Is it confusing?
Send it to Yoon. I'm connected to Yoon.
All right. So while we're waiting, let me see if I have any more data to share, because I know people don't want to just watch us waiting for Nell and Yoon to click on their links.
Yoon oh, he's a different Twitter account, and he has a different name on his Twitter.
Okay.
He says Clavier777.
So, but Nell's going to send it to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. While we're doing that, why don't you guys in the chat ask me anything while we're waiting for Yoon and Nell? Clavier 777. Brandon, read me any questions if they have questions.
Okay. I don't see any questions yet, but okay.
All right, Yoon, I just sent you. I saw your DM on Twitter. No questions for me. I can tell you. Well, I'll tell you. I'll ask myself a question. What have I been fired up about on Twitter? I'll show you. Share screen. Chromie. So this is, by the way, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, I'm at Nerds for Yang.
Question: how's Mrs. Nerd? She's shopping for milk.
She is shopping for milk. Mama is shopping for milk because Brandon drinks a lot of milk. He's going to turn into a cow at some point. Okay, so what I was tweeting was, folks, I know everybody's excited.
Oh, somebody joined.
Oh, Yoon is in the house. All right, let me get Yoon. I'm going to bring you in 1 second. But I wanted to tell you, I know everybody's excited about the vaccine. I am too. You probably won't get it until maybe March, April, if you're lucky. So please, 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 please wear a mask. When you're in a crowded area, I would wear an N95 personally.
Wait, I think it says add to stream.
Yeah, just wait 1 second, dude. I got to finish my public service announcement. Wear an N95 if you're in a crowded indoor area. Wear any kind of mask all the time. Stay 6 feet apart and stay home for Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We all want to celebrate. For those of us who practice in the Christian faith, the birth of Jesus is fantastic. Just do it at home. Don't be getting to any airports or leaving your pod. God will forgive you. And God's everywhere. He doesn't need you to travel all over the place. Okay.
From the Austin Heifer.
Favorite Yang Gang YouTuber. Oh. You know who I like? New Progressive Voice. Yeah. I think that channel doesn't get enough credit. And we've had NPV on here in the past multiple times on different panels. Joshua, who's also in California from NPV. So that's my favorite. Brandon, do you want to take Kamala's seat as vice president?
Who do you want, actually?
Who do you want? Yeah. Wow, they're asking you questions.
Obviously, Andrew Yang.
Oh, you want Andrew Yang to take Kamala's seat as... Yeah, but that would be hard because he doesn't live in California. Technically, it might be legal if you were to move here. But, yeah, that's... But I appreciate your loyalty to Andrew. Any other questions before we bring on Yoon Jae Lee that you saw? We good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Yoon Jae Lee in the house.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me on. I've been a fan for a long time.
Well,
I hear an echo. I hear...
Oh, let's see. Maybe... Well, it's not from me. It might be your audio speakers coming from your laptop.
Oh, okay. There's like a delay. I can hear myself 5 seconds after I speak.
Yeah, well, he's muted. Brandon's muted on his machine.
Okay.
And I can't mute, otherwise I won't be able to. So I think what's happening is that audio is coming from your laptop, and then it's coming back into your mic. Huh?
I don't know who you said was your favorite Yang Gang, but...
Josh.
Oh, yeah, this guy is there.
Oh, Trumper for Yang? Yeah, he's great too, man. We like Trumper for Yang.
Oh, I know what it was. I had the live stream on while
in another
I was
tab?
in the StreamYard on another window. That's what it was. So
Good to know.
Myself.
Good to know. So Yoon Jae, man, are you in New York City?
Yes, I actually live very close to Andrew Yang, like 4 blocks away. And my
Ah,
cousin lives in his building.
so you're physically close to the center of the Yang universe. What are you thinking, man? Are you excited?
Well, it's very interesting to have Andrew, run for mayor. That would be very, very exciting because he's our homeboy. Hey,
What's up, Nell?
How you doing? Can you guys hear me? I just want to check. I didn't get to check my mic.
Yeah,
If I'm
no,
using
Mike's fine.
If
Mike's
I'm using
fine.
the right mic. Okay, Snowball, good. Hey,
Brandon's
Brandon, nice
giving you
to
the
see you,
thumbs
brother.
up. So
You, how you
tell
doing? You worked. I'm sorry to interrupt. First of all, hello, nerds.
hello, nerds.
oh, that's right. Hello, nerds.
Hello, nerds.
You can't come on Nerds for Humanity and not say hello, nerds.
I love it. I love it.
That's right.
Thank you for
Okay.
reminding us.
Yoon, you worked, if I'm not mistaken, you worked on the Herzog campaign, correct? Were we
Yeah, I
both
was
on the
helping out, and I collected some signatures.
Yeah.
I was just trying to be, helping out the Yang Gang. And was it yesterday we were, out in Prospect Park trying to get awareness for cash relief with the income movement. So yeah, we're still doing stuff. And your name came up yesterday in the NYC Yang Gang because we were going to ask you to maybe do some designs and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always up for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no, but that's how we're connected, Tom, through the Herzog campaign.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's funny. I was on the Twitter and there were people talking about, well, should Humanity Forward endorse one of the candidates who was running against Herzog, starts with a B, Boyle something.
Lindsay Boylan. She's running for borough president. She's running
Right.
for borough president. Yes.
Borough president.
So here's the thing, Tom. So I don't know if people noticed, but I think Lindsay's husband he's Korean, and he served on the board for Venture for America. So I think Lindsay knows Andrew from the past.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
Lindsay knows Andrew, and when this is the same person I think she has like reddish brown hair. When she was in the debate with Herzog
And Nadler, yeah.
and Nadler, it seemed like she was very kind of like dismissive and not taking basic income seriously, which is surprising if she must be familiar with Andrew and his ideas and probably knows that he's not a crazy person.
I don't really know the backstory, but somebody on Twitter sent me a picture of Lindsay's husband, and he was on a chart where they had all the names of the board members of Venture for America. So I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure because I have no affiliation.
Did you guys watch that debate?
I did.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I watched it and I felt like, there was a little bit of eye rolling, and I don't know, it just didn't feel like she was very open to Herzog's kind of efforts to try and promote basic income as a real solution for a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna reserve a lot of what I'm gonna say, but
Or not, Nell. I mean, it's just YouTube.
Oh, we know there was a little drama going on.
There's a little drama going on that happened, and I don't really want to talk about it. But the truth is, with Lindsay, what I know is I asked her directly on Twitter. I said, are you for UBI? When I found out about her at first, because I had no idea. I thought that Jonathan, when I was a volunteer on his team, I thought that he was just running against Nadler. I had no idea about Lindsay. And when I found out about Lindsay, then I sent her just a straight up question. Hey, I said, you're spill the tea. Well, what happened? Anyway, so what happened was I sent her a message on Twitter asking, hey, and this was a public question. I said, are you for universal basic income? Because nowhere on your ad does it say it. And so I don't remember exactly the exact exchange how it happened, but I know what happened. I found out that about Lindsay Boylan because Jen Perlman from Florida
Yeah, I remember.
That's right.
endorsed she decided to endorse Lindsay Boylan, but
Oh,
Jen Perlman was endorsed by Humanity Forward, and yet so I said, wait a minute, if Jen Perlman is for UBI, why isn't she endorsing Jonathan Herzog, who's for UBI?
mm.
You know, and so that's where it came up, and so I asked Lindsay if she was for UBI. She said yes. I was like, well, it's not on your on your commercial. And then I asked Jen Perlman, why did you endorse her if she's not for UBI? So there was this exchange that went, and it wasn't, it didn't end up too pretty, but anyway.
So is she for or not, Boylan?
Well, I mean, I know that she's for help, like for instance, like temporary help during the pandemic. Yes, Lindsay Boylan is for that, but she's not really pro UBI. From my take, she's not pro universal basic income the way we know that universal basic income should be, right? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
These were the results.
Yeah, that's the Lindsay Boylan. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, like I'm not saying there should be these you know, purity tests or anything in terms of, you know, the Yang Gang and how we sort of invest our efforts. But I do feel like it's hard for me to get excited about someone who not only doesn't support truly universal basic income, but also, at least for me, she came across a little condescending, a little bit like kind of looking down her nose at Herzog. And, you know, I know Herzog's worked his ass. Oh, sorry, Brandon. Worked his butt off.
Yeah.
And he's going to make me pay for every time I've said these things.
No,
that's why
Brandon didn't hear you. Brandon, you didn't hear.
Counting his money already.
Well, I'm really quick.
No,
those results. Just keep in mind those results, voting results. Not all of the mail-in ballots were counted in New York. They didn't count mail-in ballots, so those results are as of, you know, without the mail-in ballots. So we don't know really what the real actual count is.
Yeah,
because in New York they didn't even count the mail-in ballots for the primary.
I agree.
That means my vote didn't count because I sent in a mail-in ballot.
Well, maybe they'll count it eventually.
I don't know.
But the thing is, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Andrew has this kind of very authentic, and a lot of people who were running like of the Yang Gang for Congress, I felt like they came across very grounded and very like truly humanity first. And I don't know, the Boylan, she came across, I don't know, a little bit like career politician, like, you know, super ambitious and everything. But I don't know, like very kind of the Democratic Party dogma type candidate, you know, like this is the same thing we've been hearing.
I don't really know much about Lindsay Boylan, but I think the real, I mean, for us, the people who were like OG Yang Gang and they were inspired to run by, you know, by Andrew, I think are the most authentic and the candidates that we can really relate to, like Jonathan, like Erica, like you know, many of the other people that, you know, were running. So I think there's a difference between people who are established politicians who are trying to adapt Andrew's ideas for whatever, you know, for either for their own political gain or they feel like it's a good idea, as opposed to people who are truly inspired by Andrew, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
exactly. And I wouldn't like, I would, you kind of know a Yang Gang for Congress person from a mile away because they don't seem like a traditional candidate. And maybe that's, you know, why we struggled.
They seem very normal, like normal.
Yeah, like every day, like this is not something they've been planning their whole life kind of thing. But yeah, I guess what, you know, hopefully what would be great is if we saw the Boylan kind of extend an olive branch, and maybe Lindsay, if you ever want to come on to the Nerds channel. Oh, is that true? Did Mama come home? Okay. if you ever want to come on to the Nerds channel, Lindsay, and talk about your views on basic income, maybe I was too much rooting for Herzog when I watched that debate, and be great to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, then again, remember she was doing a lot of eye rolls and a lot of she was very dismissive and not really respectful during the she kind of seemed bored sometimes during the debate.
Yeah, it could have been that she didn't realize she was on screen. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I think she knew she was on screen. But, I mean, they did.
Well, I think people didn't know how they came across because Jonathan was sitting so far back. It was hard to see his face, and everybody in the live chat was saying, sit closer. But of course, he couldn't hear us. But yeah, so it may not have come across to see, how she was actually seeing herself on the screen.
Yeah, well, it's something to note that during that debate, the only person who actually uttered the words universal basic income was Jonathan Herzog. Yes. Those words were never uttered or said or anything remotely close to universal basic income was uttered by Lindsay Boylan. So just that alone tells you where it is on her priority list.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. And I'm not in New York. I mean, I'm not in Manhattan. I'm in Queens, so I can't vote for her. But I mean, if I lived in Manhattan, she could win my vote over. She just needs to really step up. She needs, what I mean? She would be able to win me over if she stepped up and spoke more about universal basic income and how that would affect us, as a society. But she doesn't. I haven't seen it, and again, I can't vote for her anyway because I'm in Queens. But I mean, that Lindsay, if you're watching, that's one way to win us over. If you want the Yang Gang behind you, if you want that endorsement for Humanity Forward, you got to step up and take up the mantle and fight for universal basic income.
Yeah, or at least have an open mind and try and share with us, what concerns you have. And that shows respect, even if you disagree. Yep. And that's, that goes a long way. And, I think the world would be better if we had less of these fights. So I'm hoping that Lindsay can kind of come around and we can all join forces someday. But let's talk about Andrew.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that so the NYC Yang Gang, we've kind of morphed into the New York Humanity Forward movement, and we're kind of like organizing. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we are looking at a lot of local candidates who are running for city council, for other like city offices, and seeing which one of them support ranked choice voting and who are for UBI. And so we're trying to push to get those candidates elected to the offices.
Yeah, I would like to note, Bedran Khan has announced that she's running for city council. So
she has. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So she has announced that. So if you guys are there out there, just expect for new tweets. I'm going to be helping her out with her campaign.
Tom,
can
I just mention something? I want to mention somebody in the Yang Gang he also has a channel on YouTube, and you should have him on sometime. Shane Moynihan. He worked for Bedran Khan, and I saw him yesterday when we were out, canvassing for cash relief. He's definitely someone to have on the channel. So I'd like to, give a shout out to him.
Well, I can connect you with both, Tom. I can with both
Bedran and Shane, if they want to come to the Nerd Zone and talk about why they're running, and I'd love to learn about the policy issues that are unique to the local districts or areas that they're kind of running for. And then of course, if Lindsay ever wants to just have a very cool, fair, just two people talking, chat about her experience running for Congress and why she's running again now and what her views are on basic income and other issues. It'd be great to have all of these guests on. Howard, I know we're running short on time because Mrs. Nerds is back. She's going to ask me to help prepare dinner, I think, at some point. Oh, shoot. Did I promise to help? At any rate,
I actually just finished preparing dinner, and we have movie night, so I can't really stay on for too much longer.
I promised her I was going to make some feijoada, the Brazilian stew dish.
Ooh,
wow.
Yeah, I know. So before we wrap up, let's talk about Andrew running for mayor. I guess a question for each of you. Are you in favor of it? How fired up are you? And what are you most concerned about? Nell, you want to start?
I'll start. I am super stoked, super excited. Andrew, if you're watching, I'm ready to join your team. Day one, I'm already ready. I already got your logo, brother.
So are you concerned about anything, or do you think it's a no-brainer he should go for it?
It's a no-brainer. I remember telling Paget this in a stream one time. I said, I think this is before the election. And I don't know if I told this to you too, and when we were talking. I said, I think that if Andrew doesn't get a position in the Biden cabinet, then he's gonna run for mayor. Like I think I mentioned that when I was with you, Tom. And
I think so. And I remember being a little bit skeptical. And now that I've seen the numbers, I'm like, whoa, maybe Nell, you were prescient, man. You saw that before we had the data.
Well, you know what it is? It's just, I mean, living in New York, I just know. Listen, I have a lot of Republican. You know, I'm a Republican who switched to Democrat to vote for Yang, and I have a lot of Republican friends, and a lot of them were telling me during Yang 2020, they were telling me if Yang ran as a Republican, I would vote for him, or they would tell me if Andrew if Andrew wins the nomination for Democrat, they would vote for him over Trump. A lot of Trump supporters have told me this, and even today, as soon as I tell some of my friends who are hardcore Trumpers, they tell me, "Oh, Yang's running for mayor. I'm voting for him."
Now, Trumper for Yang thinks it's a big risk if he loses, and you know,
it is. I think it's high risk, high reward, because I think if he does win the mayoral, ship, and he does a great job, it really raises his profile for president in 2024, 2028, or beyond. So I think in many ways it can be a good thing. I think the thing that concerns me is that there's a lot of just dirty local politics going on in New York City. I think a lot of the establishment are very, very embedded, and they it's I think there's a lot of bureaucracy in city government here. It's so huge, and I personally would love to see a lot of the bureaucracy cut down. But it's just I'm just worried, can Yang do it himself? He needs backup from people in other city offices, and so I think if we can get as many pro Yang people into city council and even borough president or any of the other city seats, that will really help things. Otherwise, it's going to be like a back and forth between the establishments and Yang, and so much time would be wasted. And so that's the only thing that I'm concerned about. But I would be thrilled if he, if he ran for mayor and if he won.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think I've come around. When I first heard it, I was in the Trumper for Yang camp, which was, hey, this is a lot of investment, and if it doesn't come through, it's a big black eye. You'll wear out the gang. But now looking, if this slingshot polling, and it's 1,000 people in New York, is accurate, and he really does have 90% name awareness and 60% favorability, and the most favorability of the current people that are planning to run, and he has support across all demographic groups with a little bit of weakness with Hispanics and young people, but I'm sure he could make up for that. And he won. If he actually pulled it off, he immediately catapults going from a tier 2. Like maybe last time he ran in Iowa, he was a tier 3 candidate. Now he's probably a tier 2. But if you're mayor of New York and you're Andrew Yang, you immediately become a tier 1 candidate. The question is, could he get anything done? Do you think he could deliver results in New York?
That's a good question. I can say this. If Andrew cannot handle being mayor of New York, then he's not going to be able to handle being president. And so I think that's the challenge. And if he can do it, but if he pulls it off and he can do it, then I think people will see exactly like you said, become a tier 1 candidate. Now, can he get anything done? Here's the thing. Right now, New York is at a very low point, right? And I wanted to add, AOC is my congresswoman. I live in her district. And I ended up voting for her this time. Even though I don't really like her too much, I did vote for her because there was no other candidate that was better than her. for my district. So I did vote for her. But AOC, if you're watching, I hope you endorse Andrew if he runs for mayor, because honestly, you could win me over. You know, I voted for you because there was no other option, but not because I wanted to. But next time I'll vote for you because I want to, if you endorse Andrew. But anyway, that's a disclaimer right there. But yeah, can he do it? That's a great question. I think that there are probably ways that he can do it. But that's Andrew's way smarter than me, and I think that he would have the best advisors, and he probably already has a plan. If he decided to run for mayor, then I think he already has a plan, you know, for what he would do and how he would do the job.
I think so too, because he knows very well that this is going to be a damn hard job to tackle. Because I mean, we've lost so much revenue due to the drop in tourism. Also, a lot of people, like, you know, upper middle class people have fled the city, upper class, and so there's going to be a huge deficit. The transit system is a complete, it's in complete disarray. The MTA is, I think they're facing a $4 billion deficit or something like that. So, you know, he's gonna, if he wins, or whoever comes into this job, you know, and you know, we're gonna root for, I think, for whoever, whether it's Andrew or anybody, because we don't want the city to, you know, be completely in ruins, you know. So whoever comes into this job is going to have a huge you know, task on his or her hands. And so there's like 20 plus people running for mayor. So I think there are a lot of, you know, positive candidates, and you know, it's going to be tough for anybody who comes into this. But I'm confident that Andrew can definitely get things done. I mean, like, he's had success with Venture for America. He's had success with his GMAT company. He's been in New York, and he knows the drill, I think. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be successful. And the Yang Gang is going to be backing him, because we're going to start pressuring and writing and, you know, tweeting to all the city council members if they oppose, like, any of their agendas. If it's just legitimately a political you know, blocking, then we're going to get on their case. You know, if they have real reasons to not support him because they don't, you know, there's maybe some policy issues, then okay. But if they're just trying to play politics, we're going to pressure them.
Great. Well, I think one thing that I'm super interested in seeing is, if he runs, how does he come up with a platform of policies that's New York City first? You know, in a way, a VAT-powered basic income may not be the top thing that he has to push out there, because, you know, New Yorkers seem to care about coronavirus mitigation, vaccination, social justice. He's going to have to develop pretty kind of clear points of views and hopefully innovative policies around these things.
Well, I mean, remember, a lot of us in New York, just like the rest of the country, we are feeling, you know, the hurt of, you know, the financial burden.
Yeah, true.
That this coronavirus has brought. Myself, you know, right now, like I have a full-time job, right, as a graphic designer for a financial institution. However, on the side, I'm a photographer and graphic designer on the side, and that side of my business has, you know, drastically been affected by the coronavirus and the pandemic and all that. So it's very difficult. My landlord is he owns a what do you call it? A catering hall, and I mean, his business has gone really down. And so you know, these are the type of issues that are nationwide that Andrew's going to have to attack if he becomes mayor. And well, anybody who becomes mayor is going to have to attack and think about, you know, what are they going to do for the people, you know, and how they're going to help us, you know, restructure or you know, lift us up.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good point from Mike CK. I would imagine if he won the mayorship, it would be more of a 2028 presidential run, because 24 would be too close, right?
I think also if Biden doesn't run a second term, which is probably likely, probably the front runner is going to be Kamala Harris, of course, because you know she's vice president. So I don't think it would be wise for Yang to think that he might have a chance in 2024 as much as we would want him to. I mean, but it's I think Paget mentioned this on her show like a few days ago. She was just talking about this whole thing, you know, that it could be realistically, if Yang wins New York City mayor, it may be like 2028 or so. And I know it seems far off, but maybe this could be a good time.
You know, that's not the end of the world.
You know,
I mean, if
UBI
he saves New York and then runs in 2028 and lets Kamala or Pete take it in 2024, and then if they don't win, that might be a perfect opportunity for Yang. The other thing is Yang's young, right? Like it's not like he's got this, you know, narrow window.
Yeah, he's like 45, right?
Yeah.
So, well, the thing is, remember, New York City is the capital of the world. Let me remind everybody. So this is a huge, huge stage for Andrew. So, you know, he, you know, people will love him if he becomes mayor. And we'll be rooting for him, just like Yoon said. You know, we'll be rooting for him and in hopes that he'll do good things. And I'm pretty confident he will do some good things and he'll make good calls. You know, right now, de Blasio is not really well liked in New York, and especially the police department. They hate Mayor de Blasio. You know, a few months ago, I don't know if it was a few months ago or maybe like a year ago or something like that. There was some funeral, I think, for some police officer, and when de Blasio actually showed up, there was like 500 cops outside. All of them gave their back. Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Vaughn Dorwell. I appreciate it, Vaughn.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
sorry about that. No,
it's fine.
So you're talking about NYC police and de Blasio.
NYPD, yeah. So the NYPD, when de Blasio showed up to the funeral outside, there were like it seemed like 500 cops. All of them turned their back on Mayor de Blasio. It shows you how much respect they have for him. You know, and it's because he's been very anti-police, and it's not. You don't want the mayor of New York to be hated by the police, even though he's, you know, he may have some, he may have some good reasons for it, but you want a mayor that pretty much can balance, you know, between what the police are doing and what the people are doing, and you know, you want that balance. And Andrew Yang, I think, is smart enough to do that and handle that.
Right on. Well, look, we're gonna have to wrap up. I gotta make some nerd dinner tonight. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys for joining me on this impromptu live stream. Good idea, Brandon, to invite the guests.
Thank you for inviting me, Thomas. This has been so much fun. I never thought I'd be a guest on your show.
Well, it's my pleasure.
I was so surprised to see you at this time because you're usually at 1 and 2 on Sundays.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do anything this morning, and then I was like, man, I kind of missed the Nerds for Humanity Nation. And then I asked Brandon, hey man, you want to do a stream? And he said, okay. Brandon, do you want to say anything before we wrap up to our audience?
No.
All right then. All right. With that, I'm gonna say goodbye, nerds, and if you guys can say goodbye, nerds, we'll be good to go.
Sure.
Goodbye, nerds.
Goodbye, nerds.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Tom.
Goodbye,
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, but before we wrap up, Nell, tell everybody about your channel so they know and they can go check it out.
My channel is My Creative Workshop. I just got this face mask. Look how awesome. So I am okay. Let me explain real quick. 2 seconds. So I am building a team of graphic designers for the Yang Gang. For Yang 20, well, if Yang runs for mayor, it's gonna be for 2021, but really for Yang 2024, that was the idea. So I started a channel called My Creative Workshop, and I have a few episodes now, but the real launch is gonna be in January, where I'm gonna teach, just teach all the skills that I have in graphic design and everything I know. I'm not selfish, so I don't know everything, but whatever I do know, I will teach. So if you head over to mycreativeworkshop.com, you get all the information there.
All right, My Creative Workshop it's on YouTube as well, right? That's the YouTube channel.
It's on YouTube. Yep, it's a YouTube channel. Yeah.
All right, check it out, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, nerds.
Goodbye, nerds.
Goodbye, nerds.